What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic. And today's project, this beautiful, gorgeous Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta, something like that. Berlinetta SWB, which is the short wheelbase, and it's the Competizione version. Excuse my terrible, terrible Italian accent there. It was completely accidental, but it just came out. But never mind. This is what we're going to be working on today. This is a glorious car, an absolutely gorgeous car, and I do love it. I can't wait to get stuck into this one today. We do have this i6 double overhead cam engine in here today. This is a very small model, but because there are big engine covers to go with this car to make it look like the original engine, I'm assuming. I haven't played with any of them yet, so we will find out as we go on a bit later on in this episode. And obviously we're going to do something really cool with the colour. I say really cool. There's a couple of options in my head. It's a Ferrari, so red is obviously a good starting point. But I am also thinking about I've got a few other colour options in mind with a few colour combinations, and then maybe some white wheels. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's jump in. Let's start this one off. Let's get over to the car wash and let's get it cleaned up and ready to work on. Here we are then at the car wash. Let's get her cleaned. I think we already know what colour she already is because it is a Ferrari, so it probably is red. And it's got the decal vinyls on it. So this is one of the race models. I'm not sure which one. Nice big Ferrari badges on the side, a couple of stripes, and the number 19 maybe? Not 100% sure on that. Nothing special at the back there. Let's get the interior cleaned. Let's get it back on the lift and let's get that engine ripped out and get this car ready for everything new and shiny on it. She's on the lift. She's up in the air, and I've just noticed something quite bizarre. This entire underpiece here, this tray underneath here, is all classed as the front bumper, which I think is quite bizarre, along with these two side pieces here. Bit weird on that one, but let's get underneath. We've got to have a look for that drive shaft, which isn't there. Nope. No drive shaft on this one today. The gearbox is attached though, so we do need to get that one out. So let's get that ripped out. We'll have a double check for that oil pan. I don't think I saw one, but I'm not 100%. No oil pan. So straight away, let's get this car back on the ground and get that engine ripped out. So we need to grab the crane. Let's get that one moved over and let's get this engine ripped out. Nice and easy. Didn't miss anything. It is a small engine and there wasn't a lot left on it. So there's not that much to strip down. Let's start getting this body torn apart, because I don't really know where all the pieces are. Obviously, apart from the front bumper, which is underneath it. There it is. That's part of it as well. And the exhaust is part of it. That's good to know. I think that might be it for the body. So, I mean, that was quite an easy one. Nothing too special there. Let's get her up in the air, and let's have a look at what suspension we've got underneath here. Let's have a good look in here. So nothing here. Scratch that. So it's the double wishbone top and bottom with the shock absorber with a few parts missing. Obviously this is a very bad condition car, so whatever, that is what it is. What have we got at the back? That looks like leaf springs and probably shocks. Am I missing some shocks there? Yes, I am. As you can see, there is a lot missing from this car. No oil, no fuel. What do you call it? Fuel tank. There we go. Mind blank there. But anyway, I'm going to get on. I'm going to get all of this stripped down. And then we'll get that engine bay cleared before we get that engine stripped down. I'll catch you guys in a little while. So the suspension is all stripped on the 250 GT. Let's get in and get what little is in this engine bay cleared, which is absolutely nothing, front or back, apart from this tiny little bit of fuse box. So I'm just going to get that done now. No point skipping that. That was very simple. And now let's get over and get what little was on this engine stripped off as well. Oh, it looks like there was a lot more on there than I thought there was. Mostly just pistons though. So let's crack on with this. Obviously it's the inline 6 engine. It's the double overhead cam. So we kind of know what we're working on with a few rusty parts. Why wouldn't it let me spray that? There we go. Yeah, just double overhead cams at the top. It does have all the cam covers, loads of them lined up and down there, so that is that. I'm going to go on and get the rest of this stripped, and then I'll meet you guys back at the car when we'll get that frame all sorted out before we get the body panels back on and get it over to the paint shop. So I'll see you all in a few minutes. Here we are then, everything stripped down on the 250 GT. It is time to sort that frame out and get this body back on. So let's go and grab this welder, and then we're going to start looking at some of the complex body panels for this one. 15,500. Was not prepared for that. I'm hoping this one sells for a big profit at the end, because that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And also some of the body panels for this car were ludicrously expensive, and the colour has changed. That looks like a totally different red now. Definitely not what I'm after for this Ferrari. That is a very metallic red. Not for me. But let's start throwing some body panels back on this. There isn't much to do. There's a couple of different bonnet options. The Competizione one, which comes with a little screen here. I didn't like it too much, so I left it off of that one. The lights, I've gone for black trim on them, and I've also gone for black front end there. And for the front bumper, I've gone for a bumper delete. That should not still be there. Bumper delete there. There is also the engine cover. I will put that on and we'll go through it later. Then I'm going to come down the sides because I've gone for the side pipe exhaust with the side exit because I like it. Although this is the Competizione model, not everything on this, in fact, barely anything on this is actually the Competizione spec. Rear lights, again, black trim. Gone for a black gas tank cover and then black trim on the rest of the car there with no badge. That's pretty much it for the cool stuff. Oh, apart from the interior, I did go for the Competizione red interior. That looks nice with the black dashboard there, and the doors themselves with the red interior and the black trim. So I'm going to go on and get this together, and then we'll go over to the paint shop and get this one painted. Catch you guys in a moment. All of the body panels are back on, looking great with this black trim and the black grills there and everything like that. Really happy with how this turns out. Interior wise, I did go for the Jaguar E-Type seats, a bit of cream seats in there. I actually think they look quite smart, so I'm definitely keeping it like that with the wooden steering wheel on there. And just before we go in, that is the Competizione engine, or at least the engine cover, how that's going to look, and I think that looks pretty sick. This is going to be the first time that I'm not going to paint an engine because it is completely 100% covered underneath this. I'm not sure if that itself is paintable, but we will find out when we head over to the paint shop, which I'm going to do now. So I'll catch you guys over there in a minute when I've picked what colour we're going to go for this lovely 250 GT. Here it is then. This is the colour we've gone for. I stayed on the red for absolutely ages. I toyed with it and I was just like, it's just too predictable, too plain, too boring. Red obviously isn't a plain and boring colour, but just because you throw it on a Ferrari, it just makes it a bit, for me, a bit too plain, a bit too boring. So I've gone for this glorious sort of blue tinted gunmetal grey. I think it looks fantastic. It is one of the factory colours. If you download the mod for this car and you get it onto there, it is one of the factory colours. It looks absolutely stunning. I have just left it as it is, but with this black trim, it sort of really pops it off. It looks amazing. Obviously, we've got the red interior. That's our tribute to Ferrari, keeping the red there in the red interior. And I will throw some red in the suspension underneath, not the wheels. Still not 100% sure on the colour of the wheels yet. So we'll come back to that one a little bit later on. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for the colour of the suspension. But we will actually, do you know what? I'm just going to chrome the suspension today. Not just, but I'm going to chrome out the suspension today. The only red is going to be in the homage to the Ferrari there. Maybe the brake calipers if they turn out a nice colour, and probably the springs on the suspension. The rest of it's probably, I'm just going to go for a light chrome on this one. No, do we just black chrome it? Not sure. We'll find out in a bit. Anyway, let's get it back on the lift and start getting that suspension back on once I've decided what colour it wants to be. Okay, I did get everything painted. I will just quickly talk about the spring or the suspension. Black shocks, red springs, and obviously you can't paint the cap. Now this is a little darker metallic red there. It's not the standard metallic red. Mostly because I'm trying to match it to the brake calipers. Everything else underneath the car that is paintable, though, is just painted in chrome colouring. So let's just see how this all goes. Let's start getting it all back together and see where we end up. I'm hoping I like, and it is just the plain light chrome as well. Nothing dark on this one. There's loads of dark on this one. But I went for the light chrome. Will I regret it? I'm not sure, because it does just kind of match. But it is chromed out anyway. And maybe we'll go with chrome wheels instead of white wheels. Sorry, Owen, and maybe next time. We will see, though. I might still change my mind. But this probably will go for white wall tyres on it, though. It depends how much power I think I'm going to start making out of this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the colour at the front, just chromed with the suspension. So I'm going to get this finished and I'll join you at the back when we've got some of that ready. Here we are at the back then. As you can see, just the black shocks, as they are standard pretty much. I did go over them in a black paint, just so that it will definitely all match. The U-bolts themselves were in black, but apart from that, and the brake calipers, obviously, they are in the red. We'll just jump over to the front quickly and just have a look at them. That's the red I went for, and that's why I went for a darker metallic red on there. Not that you can compare the two together, so it doesn't really make that much difference. But let's get on and let's get this rear end finished. There is nothing else painted on this. Everything else is not paintable, so that's what it is all going to look like. And I still don't know how I feel about the plain chrome. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Here we are then. As you can see, all that suspension is in. And I actually, considering it is just the plain standard chrome, I actually really like it. It might be a bit too little for some people. In fact, even for me, I'm surprised it isn't a little bit too little, but there we go. I'm happy with how it turned out in the chrome. It looks really nice with a couple of black accents on the U-bolts at the back and obviously on the suspension with a bit of red thrown in on the brake calipers. But let's get this engine bay sorted. Really not a lot in here. The biggest radiator, I think, in game. A windscreen washer, a brake servo. Then we've obviously got the fuse box, which we need to get on and sort, and the battery. And that is pretty much it for the engine bay. So I'm going to get on and get this fuse box sorted. As I said, I'm not, and I haven't painted any of this or any of the engine because it was all completely hidden for a change rather than just half hidden. So yeah, I'll get on and finish this, and then we're going to jump in and build that engine. Here we are then, ready to go and get this tiny diddy engine built. Even on here, it's tiny as. There is no painting on this one. It is just the inline 6 double overhead cam. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get most of it finished, or all of it finished, depending on how far I get. If I just get carried away and finish it, I might do. But I'll get most of it finished, and then I'll just join back up with you, and we can have a look at the finished product. Because again, you're not going to see this engine inside that engine bay. So there's not really point in doing anything fancy to it. And you've all pretty much seen this engine before. They're all very similar. So yeah, just going to get on and get this finished, and I'll catch you guys in a few moments. Well then, that is it. The tiny little engine finished. I do find it quite weird that you can't put like the manifold on there or on the actual engine stand. I believe you can only do it in the car. Either that or it is totally broken and you can't even do it in the car. But we will find out a bit later on. I'm just going to get this one dropped in real quick because, well, it's not the technically it's not the engine for this car. The engine for this car is what the engine cover is, and that is looking fantastic. I do love it. A few bits to button up now. Basically, got to get the exhaust on, drive shaft on, wheels on, and some liquids topped up, and maybe the sort of exhaust bits. I know we've got the side exit exhaust there. But I'm going to crack on and get these wheels sorted out. What colour do you think we should go for? I mean, I'm probably just going to go for a black and try and match that, because I think that would look pretty good. The wheels are just going on now, looking lovely. I've done them in a chrome black. I think they look absolutely stunning. Let's get this car down on the ground. Now, I was going to go for white wall tyres, but I did just decide to go for slicks instead. And I actually really like the red brake calipers sticking through the chrome black wheels there. I think that looks absolutely stunning. Size-wise, I went up a size from the standard that came on it, up to 16-inch on these wheels. They are a 225 width, so they're not too wide. They don't stick out at all. And obviously they're a 16-inch. And the profile is a 50 profile on these ones. And I think it looks really smart. I'm very happy with how this car's turned out. I have tinted all the windows. The side ones decided they wanted to be a lot lighter. So they're quite a dark colour. Or no, sorry, quite a lighter colour on that one. So I think that's about 60% coverage there. That's 75% coverage, and then the windscreen is about 40% coverage. So I had to do a bit of a weird one on there so you could still see the red interior, because obviously it's a Ferrari and I still wanted to keep it a bit red. This is looking lovely though. I'm very happy with how this looks. Just got to get the gearbox in, the drive shaft and the starter, get the liquids topped up, and then we'll get this car outside ready to go onto the dyno to see how much horsepower it can get, and then down the track to see how fast it's going to be. So I'm going to get these last few bits just polished up here, if I can find where I'm going, because it's the engine cover. There we go. I'm going to get these last few bits done, obviously along with that exhaust, and I'll catch you guys outside when this one is all finished up. So here we are then with the Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta short wheelbase. Officially it's the Competizione model, but I've used barely any of the Competizione parts. There is quite a big parts list for this one. I'll just briefly show you that. I'm not going to click through everything on it, but you've got obviously different interior covers, different exhausts, different grills, different engine covers, different bumpers, fuel tanks, trim levels, doors with different interiors, different trim levels, everything like that. There is a lot going on with this car. It is great to see, and Payne has done a great job modding this one in, so well done to him. Thumbs up in the chat for Payne if you want to. In the chat, in the comments. What am I, a streamer? Never streamed in my life. Anyway, this car looks absolutely fantastic. I really do love it. In this sort of gunmetal grey, it's gone a bit cloudy by the looks of that. In this sort of gunmetal grey here, with the black trim levels everywhere, I think it looks absolutely stunning. With these chromed out black wheels with the red brake calipers in there, looking stunning. And then obviously you've got this red interior. I did swap the seats. I did put the Jag seats in here. I did swap them out to the black because they were the not tan, they were the cream colour, and it was just a bit too much with the red. But apart from that, you've got the spare wheel in the boot there. Obviously, that one is just in the normal chrome. Ours are in the black chrome. And then that engine, which is just an engine cover. I don't want to take it out because it looks better than the small engine that is squeezed in there. But anyway, let's jump in this one and see what she sounds like, because I am loving this car. I really am. That's a nice rumble. Definitely a nice rumble on that one. Not quite was I expecting a Ferrari to sound like, but it still sounds tasty. Definitely wouldn't complain if it was my car. Anyway, let's get it on the dyno and see what horsepower this machine can put out. Here it is then, dyno it up. 274 is the starting horsepower on this car. We did add loads of performance parts to it, so what speed are we going to get to? What horsepower are we going to get to today? An additional 184 horsepower at 68%. That's pretty good from that i6 engine, putting the total up to 458. I probably could have put the white walls on this instead of the slicks by the looks of that, but we won't know until we see the speed on the track. So let's head over there and see what top speed we can squeeze from her. Here we are then on the track with the Ferrari 250 GT. Let's go. Wonder what speed we will squeeze out of this machine today. As I said, I did put slicks on it. The overall horsepower wasn't great, but actually that's accelerating really well, so I'm glad I did put slicks on it in the end. We're coming up towards the 300 kilometers an hour mark. There she is. What are we going to get to? Is this going to beat the Huracan from yesterday? I think it might. What are we going to end up at? Come on, 350. We can get up there, definitely. 375? No, 356. 356 kilometers an hour. Not bad from the Ferrari 250 GT. So here we are then for the final time with the Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta short wheelbase Competition edition, although we haven't put many of the Competition parts on there, so it's probably not officially classed as that anymore. But anyway, 356 kilometers an hour wasn't the best speed, and it did beat the Huracan by 2 places actually. In at 29th, the Huracan is now down to 31st. It was 30th when the video came out. This has just pushed it down an extra place. I have enjoyed this car today. It has been a lot of fun. If you do want to do it yourself, as I say, Payne to put this one up onto the Steam Workshop. I will put a link in the description below for you to go and see that. Don't forget to give it a like if you are going to subscribe. Even if you're not and you do like it, you do like the look of it or whatever, just go and give it a like on Steam anyway. It is always good to do that. But I love this. I love all the options you've got with it. The different interior colours is absolutely great. The different trim colours and stuff like that you can get. This one has been a lot of fun to work on. I will warn you though, in the shop, all the parts for this are quite expensive. They do work out quite pricey. If you don't have a good starting budget, you're probably not going to be able to afford to do this one. For example, what I have spent on parts and stuff today is 251,455. Add that to what I paid for the car, which is 153,434. Puts our total spend at 404,889. But if you have the money to start it off, so, you know, if you've got a cool $500,000, you'll definitely be able to get this car and get it sorted or ready to sell. If you can find one and you've got $500,000, it's definitely worth it, because the total sale price is... Let's just jump into here and have a look. Obviously, we got all of this information. We know that. We know we squeezed a little bit extra horsepower out of that engine, additional 68%. I'll have to weigh the car one. But that sale price there of 5,700,676, obviously take away our spend of 404,889, pits our profit at 5,295,787, which is absolutely incredible. I've enjoyed this car. I really have. It has been a lot of fun. But it is time to say goodbye to the short wheelbase 250 GT. Off you go. That is a huge amount of profit. We are back over 20 million for the first time in a little while since I went on a car spending spree. But what have we got next? This is a Skoda Octavia, but this isn't just any Skoda Octavia. You might be able to tell by all of that. This is the race edition of the Skoda Octavia. Skoda Octavia. What did I say? Scovia. That's a weird sound. Anyway, this is the Octavia race edition. It does only have 319 horsepower. It does have a lot of swap options. It currently has a V6 in it with double overhead cams. We will have to decide what we're getting to, what we're going to do with it next time. Maybe one of these inline turbochargers. Maybe stick with the V6, because I do like a V6. They are nice engines, and that one does look like a bit of a beast. Double air filters on that. There is a lot to do on this. That's going to be a lot of fun to work on. And obviously this is the one with the big dropped bumpers. Excuse me, the side skirts, the big rear bumper, and that massive wing on the back. This is obviously a modded in. I will give credit to that one on the episode on the day. I hope you tune in next time to see this one. But thank you very much for watching for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.